What if healing isn't something that you chase? It's something that's already within you that you just need to remember. What if every discomfort, every pain, every ache is not a symptom, but really your body just trying to get attention? It's just whispering truths that you've been too busy to hear. Science is finally catching up to what ancient wisdom has known for years. Healing is not from without, it is from within. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Good Gut Feeling Podcast, where we digest modern medicine with old world wisdom. I am Dr. Alexandra Shustina, and I'm your host for this weekly podcast. And today, another exciting topic, the energy of healing. We will learn how spiritual practices can boost your health, reduce your stress, increase your mental clarity, and increase your overall well-being. And most importantly, it will restore your body's ability to heal itself. Many of us carry burdens, and we often think we're okay. And I speak to patients a lot who say, well, my life is pretty good now. It was maybe stressful 10 years ago as a child, but now it's fine. So I'm not understanding why I'm feeling sick. And maybe that is you. Maybe you're thinking, like, why now? Why now? Yes, I went through a lot 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 40 years ago, but now my life is good. And all of a sudden I'm feeling bad. Why is that? Because when we have unresolved traumas, and most of us have them, because what happens when we're children, and the younger we are, the more effective this process is. We experience different kinds of traumatic events, and they don't have to be really dramatic and appear overwhelming, because sometimes they're just simple things that our body, that our subconscious mind processes as highly stressful. Whether it is being left at home alone for a long time or longer than we would be comfortable with, or what if it's our parent not being there for us when we were crying or when we hurt ourselves, and maybe it's not even our parents' fault, and maybe they were not even aware. And often there's no logic behind it, because when we're young, we really don't have the intellectual ability to give it a reason, to give it a purpose, to help us understand why it happened and process it. We just internalize it. It just goes straight into our subconscious mind and sits there. Now, when that happens, it's very hard for us to process it, to get over it, because it just sits there, and then it attracts other experiences similar to that. So if I have a fear of abandonment, I'm going to attract abandonment, and then I'm not going to understand why these things are happening because of some things that happened when I was so young that I was not able to process. Now that experience may have happened many, many years ago, but because it's unprocessed, it sits in our subconscious mind and creates a framework of stress, a framework of experiences that are viewed in a framework of something negative. So perhaps I had that experience of being abandoned as a child, or maybe I really wasn't even abandoned, but my family member, my caretaker, got stuck somewhere, couldn't pick me up, couldn't be there for me, beyond something that's really would be considered terrible or bad or abusive or neglectful. But I was too young to understand that, or you were too young to understand that. And then it just sits there. And then there may be other situations that may not be so bad, or maybe they are, but they're perceived through that same lens. Now, that creates a stressful response in the body. The body goes into fear mode. The body goes into survival mode. The body goes into sympathetic fight or flight mode. And that's not the mode we want to be in to create lasting health. We want to be relaxed. We want to be calm. And that's especially true when we're digesting, because we don't want to be in fight or flight mode. We want to be in rest and digest mode when we're digesting. How do we get into rest and digest mode? Through being calm, through being at peace. If we are in a state of anxiety, it is very, very hard to get there. And then all the stuff that happens in our body, the release of cortisol, the release of adrenaline, the increased heart rate, all that is great when we really need it in acute situations. And that's what the body's designed for. But it's not great when it's chronic. And that is the beginning of disease. Our bodies are constantly speaking to us. The body's language is symptoms. So it's a headache, or it's fatigue, or it's an abdominal pain, or it's constipation. And we think it's bad. But that's the body's language. The body speaks to us and it's telling us to pay attention. And we're saying, now we're too busy. I'm too busy to deal with this. I have my experiences now that I'm dealing with. I have work and I have children and I have responsibilities. But the body doesn't want to hear that. The body's telling us, no, listen to me and I will make your life better. That could be the tension in your shoulders. That could be your runny nose. That could be your gut that's moving too fast or too slow, or the bloating or the gas or the belching. That all could be a message from your body, just reminding you, hey, pay attention to me. I know you're busy. I know you're busy. That's why you didn't hear me the last week and the week before and the year before. And now I had to turn up the volume. Spiritual practices affect our body in a profound way. They're not just allowing us to float somewhere in the sky and elevate our consciousness, although that's also amazing. They actually can help heal our body. Meditation reduces cortisol, improves focus, and supports emotional balance. Breathwork can release stored traumas. It can activate the vagus nerve and regulate our energy and make it more balanced. Prayer, something so prevalent in every religion and culture, something that's been around for many, many years, can connect us to something greater than ourselves and take us outside of all our pain and dysfunction and imbalance and elevate us to a place where that no longer exists. Gratitude journaling can make us focus on the positive, because the truth is we have so much positive. We tend to focus on the lack. But if we actually change our perspective and see the miracles that happen every day for us to wake up in the morning, for us to be able to see, to breathe, to hear, to eat, it would be impossible to be sad or depressed, because the miracles are so much greater than anything we lack, especially in today's modern world. But sometimes people feel great in the beginning of their healing journey, and then they crash. And then they think, oh, they failed or it doesn't work. But healing is not always linear. It's up and down and up and down. And as long as the trajectory is generally heading up over time, you are doing great. It's not going to be straight. It's going to be up and down, because life is unpredictable. Things happen. Healing is not linear. It's just not how it works. And sometimes that crash is really a breakthrough, because we have been putting on layers through all the painful things that we've been through. And then we finally take off the layers. And that is shocking and painful for some people. But that means we're finally getting to the root cause. And sometimes it does feel like a crash, but that crash is the beginning of growth. And it's part of all the years of releasing stored energy. And I'll tell you, it didn't happen once or twice or 10 or 20 or 30 times. When we start the process in my practice of energy healing, I often have people cry. They cry in my office, they cry on my table. I don't physically hurt them. We don't even sometimes talk about the actual issue. But when they're able to connect that to that issue, it is a beautiful process. Sometimes it's a painful process, but it's a process of true healing. So remember, healing is not something that you need to chase. It's inside of you. And sometimes all you really need to do is remember. And many times we focus on external things and we feel we're not enough and we need extra and we need more supplements and we need more procedures and we need more medical interventions and we need to fight the disease. But the truth is, the real truth, the healing is already inside of us. And it's really just about finding that blockage, that imbalance that's within us, and fixing it internally can be a beautiful process and a really root cause process. Because once we heal the reason for any issue, the reason of why we feel this way, the reason the body is sending us that message, the body no longer needs to send us that message. On the other hand, if we start to fix it externally, and external is often necessary, yes, we need to eat right and supplements are great. And yes, we do need to help it externally. But if we only fix it externally and we never fix it internally, then the problem still exists. And it's just a matter of time before the body's going to send another message. Hey, you never fixed the issue. You covered the issue. You made it easier to deal with. And even if you did it naturally, if you did not find the cause of the alarm in your body, the body will send another alarm. And I welcome all of you to start this beautiful process. The healing starts from within, and your energy is sacred. So thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you all next week. If you like what you hear, you can find us on wholegut.com. Stay healthy, stay gutsy, and I look forward to seeing you soon.